Welcome to Reminisce with Terry, and This Week in History's episode. This episode we celebrate one of the greatest thrillers of the screen, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Then we meet the made-for-television pop band The Monkees, who became a hit sensation of the 60s, and finally we encounter the deadliest man of the ages, evil personified. Please subscribe, like, and ring the bell if you enjoy This Week in History. Join us, won't you? September 1960, Psycho is released. With a career that spanned over 50 years, Alfred Hitchcock is an undisputed master of cinema. With around 55 feature films on his resume, he covered a tapestry of emotions, genres, and human frailty. Hitchcock charted the political turmoil of the 20th century as it was unfolding. With his pre-war espionage thrillers, The 39 Steps in 1935 and Sabotage in 1936, his examinations of the effects of World War II on the human condition in Lifeboat 1944 and Notorious 1946, and his takes on the Cold War in Torn Curtain 1966 and Topaz 1969. He worked with some of the most iconic stars of the golden age of Hollywood time and again, including James Stewart, Cary Grant, Grace Kelly, and Ingrid Bergman. Spanning films from his UK homeland in the 1960s through to his Hollywood era ending in the 70s, Hitchcock became known as the master of the thriller, and many filmmakers have developed their careers with Hitchcock movie-making DNA evident. Psycho, arguably his most famous movie because of the impact it had on audiences and the movie industry. Hitchcock teased the audience with his trailers and created expectations that led to outcries of alarm even before one frame had been seen.
Good afternoon. Here we have a quiet little motel, tucked away off the main highway, and as you see, perfectly harmless looking, when in fact, it has now become known as the scene of the crime. Well, they've cleaned all this up now. Big difference. You should have seen the blood. The whole place was, well, it's too horrible to describe. Dreadful. And I'll tell you, there's a very important clue was found here. Down there. Well, the murderer, you see, crept in here. Very slowly, of course, the shower was on, there was no sound. And,
After the immense success he enjoyed with North by Northwest, Psycho looked like being a disaster. There were calls for it to be banned even before screening. The shock of seeing the first toilet on screen and a supposedly naked actress. A flop? Not on your life! It was a huge hit, solidifying his reputation as a creative, inventive and groundbreaking director. The angles, the shots, the shower scene, the blood gurgling down the drain. The use of imagination to create imagery is what makes Psycho such a powerful film.
If I could do anything except just sit and stare like one of his stuffed birds. Well, they know I can't even move a finger, and I won't. I'll just sit here and be quiet, just in case they do suspect me. They're probably watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even gonna swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
12th of September 1966, the Monkees debut.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
The Monkees story began in the fall of 1965 when Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, a pair of producers whose Ray Burt Productions had a deal with Columbia Pictures and their TV branch, Screen Gems. They came up with an idea for a television series about a rock group. Inspired by Richard Lester's groundbreaking comedies with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night and Help, Rafelson and Schneider imagined a situation comedy in which a four-piece band had wacky adventures every week and occasionally burst into song.
Yeah, which one are you needing?
You got a B?
Yeah, B. Okay. What are you guys playing, a gig or something?
Better. We're auditioning for Hubble Benson.
Hubble Benson, the TV producer?
Yeah, he's looking for a singing group to star in his new TV show. Didn't you guys get an invitation?
Oh, sure we did.
Yeah, sure.
NBC were taken with the idea and so the concept became reality. a casting call went out for 4 young men to play the members of the group, and Rafelson and Schneider's choices for the roles were truly inspired. Michael Nesmith and Peter Tork were magicians with solid performing and recording experience, who also had a flair for playing comedy, while Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones were primarily actors but had also dabbled in pop music and had strong vocal abilities. Michael and Peter were both excellent musicians, whilst Mickey and Davy had started out as child actors. Mickey had earlier success in Circus Boy, and Davy had played in Coronation Street and as the Dodger in the original London production of Oliver. While initially the cast was only going to provide vocals for material Boyce and Hart had already recorded, the producers were impressed enough with Nesmith's songwriting skills that they chose to use a few of his tunes and let him produce them. With this, the Monkees took their first step toward evolving into a proper, self-sufficient rock band. of September 1976, Death of Mao. The leader of the Chinese Communist Party is widely acknowledged as the ruler who presided over the greatest slaughter of civilians in human history. Whilst he personally did not commit these atrocities, it was his policies and impulses that directly led to these unimaginable numbers. The Siege of Shandong, the Great Leap Forward, and the Cultural Revolution were examples of Mao's desperation to maintain and extend his power. The Great Leap Forward led to the collectivization of rural lands, the devastation of productivity, the creation of a failed village steel industry, and the death of sparrows because they ate too much rice. The result? Locust plagues, inefficient farming practices, and mass famine, leading to millions of Chinese deaths.
Believe what I say, we're all gonna pay for a good world gone bad.
The Cultural Revolution was Mao's attempt at ridding himself of competition, resulting in student Red Brigades attacking anyone Mao claimed was against the people, and the demolition of Chinese cultural heritage. Thousands of years of culture were destroyed, including the moral beliefs of Confucius.
To the same frequency. WITFM, what's in this for me? It's a good world. Oh yes, good will come back.
Unfortunately, under Xi Jinping, the Chinese Communist Party has reverted back to Mao ideology, with the persecution of the Falun Gong, Uyghurs, and other groups in China who may threaten the power of the CCP. The annexation of Hong Kong and the continual threats over Taiwan. While the CCP rules China, the shadow of Mao Zedong, the greatest mass murderer in human history, will continue to dim the future for the Chinese people.